So you bought one of Apple's new MacBook M1s or Mac Minis, or maybe you're looking at getting one. Well, these are the apps that you've got to have to get the full performance out of that piece of hardware. Hello YouTube, and welcome to another one of my videos. My name is Braden Gerard, and today I'm going to be diving deep into the best apps for the MacBook Pro M1, the 2020 MacBook Air, and Mac Mini. All three of these new devices have exceptional performance, but the apps that you're using on them need to be optimized to take full advantage of that power. So let's take a look at some of the favorite apps that I'm using for both productivity and work on my MacBook M1 Pro. So I am on my MacBook Pro 13-inch M1 model, and it's just the base model with 8 gigs of memory. Now, we're going to talk about the apps that I use on my dock as my main productivity drivers, the things that make me a productive developer and why they're on my dock. Now, I'm also going to talk about which apps are optimized for the M1, because that's really what I'm most excited about with these new M1 MacBook Pros, is how optimized the apps are that are made to work on the Apple Silicon processor. First up on my dock is the Finder. I don't need to explain the Finder. That's how you get to basically everything on your Mac. Next over on our dock is the Terminal. Okay, the Terminal is an application that I use every day as a developer. It allows me just to get into my files and folders and run my command line tools and launch my projects. It's actually the thing I use the most for productivity with the Terminal. Is I'll pull up my Terminal. I typically will go into my GitHub folder because that's where I store all of my projects that are on GitHub. And then I'll go into my specific project. So let's say my personal website. If I want to get working on that, I'll just type code space dot. So open it up in this folder. And then I get my project opened in Visual Studio Code ready to go. Okay, and then I can run any of my command line tools from here that I need to. And that's how I like to use the Terminal for majority of my work. Now, other people prefer some applications like iTerm or different terminals. I really like the built-in integrated Mac terminal, and it's optimized for M1. So this runs beautifully on this new Mac, extremely fast, and just works flawlessly. Now, next over on my dock is Things 3. Things 3 is optimized for the M1. It is brilliantly designed. It works so well. It's just one of my favorite apps all around. It really boosts my productivity because it allows me to put all of the things in my head that I need to do down somewhere so that I can forget about them. Okay, so typically I don't have things open like this. I'll just have it running in the dock, and then I use the global shortcut, which is Control Space on a Mac. And I can add a to-do that way. So I could say record my next video, right? And then I can add some other options here, and we'll talk more about this in a future video just on things if you guys want. So I'm not going to cover that now, but I'll hit enter, puts it into my Things 3 to-do list for inbox. And then in my inbox, I can then prioritize them into where I want them, when I want to do them, and what categories I want to put them under. Okay. Things has all kinds of options for this to keep everything very organized, and I can talk about that, like I said, in a future video. Next over on my dock is Spark. Now, Spark and the next app we're going to talk about, Discord, both are not optimized for the M1 yet, which I'm very sad about. They are two of my more favorite apps to use, also big productivity apps for me. Spark handles all of my email communication for the 3 different areas of work that I do, my personal agency where we do software development, the college that I teach at, and then my personal email on iCloud. So all of those emails come in here. They get sorted based on the type of email. So if it's from a person, whether it's a notification, whether it's a newsletter, and then ones that I've already looked at. Okay, so that's one big thing that I love about Spark. Spark works on all of iOS and Apple Watch and my MacBook. It works across all of these devices flawlessly, stays in sync nicely. It even has a calendar if you want it. I'm not using the calendar because I like the built-in Apple calendar, but Spark is great and I use it every day. So it is on my dock. I just can't wait till they optimize that because currently it is using a bit more processing power than it needs to, in my opinion, and it could run even smoother if it was optimized for the M1. Now, Discord is the next app over on my dock. Discord is how I do all of my communication for my business and for my personal life. With the college, we work off of Microsoft Teams. I don't have that on my dock because I don't particularly like it, but it works all right. But Discord, I love. I've never had any issues with Discord. It works really well for business. If you're looking to set up a business channel on Discord to run your agency out of or to run your small freelance gig out of, it's perfect for that. The channel history stays around forever, even on the free tier. You can set up different channels. You can set up all the permissions you want. There's no need to pay for anything with Discord. One of the big reasons I love it, but it also just works so well and fluidly. Okay. You can have as many servers as you want. As you can see, I'm in a ton of servers here. And you can have as many people in your server as you need. Now, it does have this feature where it shows what games you're playing and stuff like that, which could be a little unprofessional for business. You can turn that off in the settings so that it just shows your online status away or offline. So you don't have to have that showing. Discord is not optimized for the M1 yet, although it should be very soon because the Electron platform that it's built on is already compatible with M1. I'm just waiting for Discord to bump their version. So hopefully that will be optimized soon as well, because it does use a good chunk of memory that I don't think it needs to, especially if it was optimized for the M1 processor. Now, Safari, next app over. Apple's browser. I stick with Safari just because it's optimized for the M1. I know some of the other big vendors like Firefox and Chrome also have M1 versions out now. I just find Safari just has a bit of a performance edge on them because it's just built so close to the hardware and built for Mac OS, right? So I enjoy using Safari, and it's my browser of choice. I keep all of my passwords and stuff in Keychain, so that's just very fluid, and I don't have to worry about any passwords. They're all saved in my Keychain, and they work across my phone and my watch and everything. So that's one of the reasons I love Safari, because it has that tight Keychain integration. Again, optimized for M1, runs extremely fast. Next over is my notes. So anytime I need to jot something down very quickly, or something that's not a task, but something that I just need to start keeping track of, I will put in my notes. Now, my notes I have categorized into some folders, but typically I just put everything into iCloud, and then I can just do a search for the notes that I need. It's optimized for the M1. It comes with your MacBook. It works very well, and I don't see any need to use any other note system. I like to just keep it simple. Works well on the iPad as well with the Apple Pencil, so that you can scribble down handwritten notes if you need to. Now, the next two apps that I have on my dock, I am not going to get into details on them today. I've been giving Final Cut Pro a try. I actually haven't used Final Cut Pro in the past. Before, I used to use Premiere Pro, but I gave Final Cut Pro a try because it is optimized for the M1, as well as Logic Pro. In the past, I was using Audacity. Now, I do like both, but for the price tag and for the performance difference between Final Cut Pro and an app called LumaFusion, I don't see the reason to use Final Cut Pro. So LumaFusion is an app that is on iPad. It also can work on your phone, and it now works on Mac OS because of the new M1 processor. So if you have one of these new M1 Macs, you can actually run some iPad apps. So if I open up LumaFusion here, you can see that I can run the full version of LumaFusion on my Mac. I have not yet fully tested this to the max, so I don't want to speak too much on it, but I might have a future video on using LumaFusion on your MacBook versus using it on the iPad. So if that's interesting to you, let me know in the comments. And it probably will be replacing Final Cut on my dock. Either way, both of these apps are optimized for the M1 and they work very fast. I know that for a fact. So if you're looking for a very fast and fluid video editor that can tear through 4K video without even a hiccup, they will both work very well on your M1 Mac and really boost your productivity, not having to wait for these long render times. Logic Pro has worked well for me as I've been giving it a shot. Now, Audacity also worked well for me. And on my iPad, I actually use Ferrite Pro for editing audio. Using the Apple Pencil to edit audio just is so fluid. So I don't know if I will be using Logic Pro much longer. I would love if Ferrite Pro also made their app available on the MacBook M1 Pro, because I would definitely give it a shot on the MacBook as well. So long story short, I might be replacing these two with LumaFusion and hopefully Ferrite Pro if they get their app updated. These two are just apps that I have running right now. One is my screen recorder and the other is the Visual Studio project I just opened up. But other than that, that is all I keep on my dock. Anything else that I need, I just access from Spotlight, because Spotlight works very well now. And you just have to hit Command Space and you can type in whatever app you need to open up. So if I did need to open up that Teams app, I could type in Team and launch it. So that is all I have on my dock. Now I'm going to do some more in-depth videos on some of these apps that are optimized for the M1 processor. So I hope you look forward to those. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a thumbs up on the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more of our future development tutorial videos that we're going to be doing here. Thanks. Have a great day.